Approximately 25 others are being assessed and treated at the local medical center for non-life-threatening injuries. As the investigation progressed, officers identified a secondary location believed to be connected to the incident. 2 additional victims were located deceased inside a residence. Police are conducting further searches of other homes and properties to determine whether anyone else may be injured or otherwise linked to today's events. Additional RCMP resources have been additional RCMP resources have been deployed to support both the response and the investigation, including frontline officers, the emergency response team, BC RCMP Major Crimes, and Victim Services. We would also like to extend our sincere thanks to our partners at BC Emergency Health Services and the Tumbler Ridge Fire Department, as well as the local medical center for their critical support throughout this incident. BC RCMP Major Crimes has assumed conduct of the investigation and is working to determine the full circumstances surrounding this incident. We are not in a place now to be able to understand why and what may have motivated this tragedy. This was a rapidly evolving and dynamic situation, and the swift cooperation from the school, first responders, and the community played a critical role in our response. Our thoughts are with the families, loved ones, and all those impacted by this tragic incident. This has been an incredibly difficult and emotional day for our community. We are grateful for the cooperation shown as officers continue their work to advance the investigation. I'd like to personally take a few minutes to recognize our community, our provincial leaders, our emergency services partners, and our communities across the north, as well as our partners who conduct businesses in our communities. I've connected with many of you, the RCMP members involved, our families, and our communities are truly grateful and appreciative of your efforts to support us, your thoughts and your prayers that you have sent me. I know you and all of our communities across British Columbia have many more questions. We are committed to providing more information and providing answers to you in the coming days ahead. I can now take a few questions. CBC News verified. Yeah, go ahead, CBC News.
What can you tell us about the shooter at this stage?
We're still trying to determine a lot about the shooter at this stage right now. We believe we've been able to identify the shooter, but for privacy reasons and obviously for the conduct of the investigation, we're not releasing that information at that time until we're assured that we've connected with the appropriate people and identified things.
And as a follow-up, can you tell us about where the victims were found? Is this inside the school? What can you tell us about the injured and the deceased?
Yeah, multiple injuries and multiple deceased were inside the school as officers progressed through the scene, locating them and triaging those events. We also located 2 deceased at another scene. Tim Perry, please.
Yes, thank you. Can you tell us, do you know how many of the deceased are children, how many are adults, and do you know how the other residence was connected?
Yeah, we're still working towards that. As I mentioned, Major Crimes from the RCMP Provincial Major Crimes Program is on scene to add further detail to that. I think it would be unwise of me to speculate on some of that information right now, and we will have answers to that in the coming days to be able to provide everyone who's got questions about the nature of the injuries, the nature of the persons involved, and what was done at the scene and after the scene to try and answer those questions for you. Craig Krause, please.
The victims, any relation to the shooter? Can you provide detail on that?
We're still working towards that. Again, it wouldn't be fair to speculate on that. We're following all leads to try and determine the connection to the shooter. I think we will struggle to determine the why, but we're going to try and do our best to determine what transpired that day and what led up to this tragic event in Tumbler Ridge and across our communities.
The age, the shooter, a minor, adult. Can you provide any detail on that at all?
We have an idea right now, but until the proper next of kin and until the families are contacted for privacy reasons, that's not something we're able to release at this time. Georgie Smith, please.
What can you tell us about the weapon?
Yeah, we're still investigating the nature of all those injuries and the weapons that may or may not have been involved. We have the scene secured right now. We have investigators there to try to determine the nature of the extent of the injuries and what weapons may or may not have been involved and caused the injuries.
That may be more than one weapon.
I haven't been to the scene, and like I said, I don't think it's fair to speculate at this time. We're ensuring we have all of the injuries or the things associated to the scene and the shooter identified to the best as we can. Karen Bartko, please.
Thank you very much for taking the question. Tumbler Ridge isn't a very big community and I imagine doesn't have the largest hospital. So are you able to tell us, given that there is a large number of people injured in this incident, where they're all being taken for treatment and kind of what the range of like severity of injuries might be amongst them? I know for privacy reasons you can't go into great detail, but can you just give an idea of the kind of the scale of the medical response to an incident like this?
I haven't personally connected with the clinic, but I can tell you that without the clinic and the support of those professionals, this would have been a far worse outcome for those that were injured and treated by the clinic. The clinic has triaged the victims to the best of my knowledge. We have had victims airlifted out of the community that required more critical care. And those updates are still pending on that care and the status of those folks that were airlifted from the community.
Are you able to just confirm if any victims were airlifted down to places like Edmonton or Vancouver area?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to divulge that just for privacy reasons and what's going on. Those families and those victims need privacy and time right now. So we're not providing that information to the public. Christian Santana, please.
Hi there, joining from NBC News in New York. Just a quick couple follow-ups. If we could clarify, do authorities believe the first two victims found were killed by the same gun person? Do you know the gun person's relationship to the school at all? And if you can just round out, it is, just to be clear, it is 8 people in total, including the gun person that is deceased.
So several questions there that you asked me. I'll try and remember them, Christian. As far as the deceased that are not at the school, we're still trying to determine that relationship and that connection. I don't have those details, and our first responders were securing the scene and ensuring Tumbler Ridge citizens were safe. Once the order, now that the order is being rescinded, we'll be looking into the investigative piece of that and trying to determine those connections. Can you repeat a couple of your other questions, please? So I'm not.
Yeah. The other questions were, just to clarify the number, there were 8 people in total found deceased. Is that correct?
So we have 9 total people deceased. We found 8 in Tumbler Ridge in 2 locations, and then another was deceased during ambulatory transport to the clinic.
Okay, and none of those people are the gun person?
That includes the deceased gun person.
Okay, and then separately, do you know the gun person's relationship to the school?
Not at this time, no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ashley Janot.
Hi. Sorry, I'm just hoping you can confirm. By my count, forgive me, it's 10 people who've died because there were the 6 found at the school plus the 1 died in the hospital gets us to 7, plus the shooter and then the 2 found at the separate home. Doesn't that get us to 10? I just want to make sure the number is correct.
You're correct. And
Okay.
Christian, I apologize for that. The shooter was not included in that 9. It is 10 total.
And then I just want to confirm that the shooter in this case, is that the same suspect that was described in the alert that was sent out into the community earlier in the day?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thomas Seal, please.
Hi, thanks for taking the questions. I was also just seeking to clarify the death toll, but is there a possibility it could rise, or do you believe that now all the remaining victims are with non-life-threatening injuries?
Yeah, we're still triaging other victims, and I don't have updates on whether that number could rise. The scene was very dramatic, and there were multiple victims that are still being cared for.
Thank you.
I've got 2 more minutes here, so I'm going to get to the next questions as quickly as I can. Gandev, please.
Yeah, thank you for this. So just to clarify, you're not able to share at this point whether the suspect was a student at the high school, whether they were an adult with maybe a past connection to the high school, and whether they had any sort of familial connection to the 2 additional victims found in the home. You can't tell us any of that right now.
We are unable to confirm that with you right now, just to make sure that we don't pass on or provide information that isn't accurate. We're still making those determinations.